They say, if suffering has an end, then I will be the deliverer. But why is there absolutely nothing behind me now?
After it's over, I'll open a tailor shop.
It wouldn't be bad to live for yourself.
I want to be a normal person.
That's not a wish.
Time to see who's better.
And stand up and face me! Why did you? Take them all away from me!
May this world never again need a deliverer.
PHAINON of Ides Elysiae. What is your dream?
To this idea of fate. Never.
I'm just sitting here crying because that's so fucking sad. God. I mean, you can say what you want about Star Rail, but they have one thing they have done so perfectly with Emporius is they have created the most genuinely likable good guy. You know? Like, this is not easy to do. Most people you can find, I mean, most characters you can find the flaws, you know, this, but it's a slippery slope, because if you make a character too good, then it will basically have the opposite effect, right? Where they're so over the top good that people actually start disliking them because they're so good, right? But Hoyo did such a perfect job making him your buddy, you know? He's your pal. He's been with you since the day you got there. He genuinely cares about his friends. so much. Like, the way that he has been written to basically be the perfect mixture of a heroic type of character in his own right, plus just the best friend and companion you would want on your side if you were going into a battle. You know, he's just perfect. Because he does have flaws. He does have flaws. He's not a perfect person. This is why he's so perfect. He's so perfect because he's not perfect. And then you build this person in the eyes of your audience through how many hours? 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, like 30, 40 hours of story at this point since we started Emphorius. And we've grown to, I think would think it would be hard to find a person who hasn't grown to like this guy, you know? He's always been just a cool dude, you know? He's helpful, he's caring, he's, you know, he's a type of person that you don't run across very often in your life, because most people look out for number one, you know? And he genuinely cares about his friends more than I think the average person would.
Be the deliverer.
I mean, these smiles are breaking me. And then they just destroyed him.
But why is there absolutely nothing behind me now?
I mean,
After
he's tried and tried and tried to save his friends, his people, himself. And look at him, he's just running head first into battle. This is a person who is the utmost in bravery, you know?
it's over,
And he's lost everyone.
I'll open a tailor shop.
It wouldn't be bad to live for yourself.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad to live for yourself, but
I
finding
want to
will
be
never
a
do
normal
that.
person.
That's not a wish.
I mean, just the
Then stand up and face me!
No, this hurts me. Like I'm being stabbed because I love him.
Why did you? Take them all away.
Why did you take them all away? This broke me. This line. Why did you kill them all? Why did you take them? You know?
From me!
May this world never again need a deliverer.
PHAINON of IDs Elysiae. What is your dream?
To save everyone. But yeah,
In truth, I just want...
And then here you see his golden blood running down and mixing here. Yeah, I think I know what that means. I think everybody can tell at this point. literally hear his bones cracking and his flesh ripping apart, and those golden like wings and shards like splitting out of his back. It's gruesome. It's horrific. Look at that. I don't even know what to say. I mean, we look at this and we think, wow, this is so beautiful, you know, and he looks amazing. But this is pain and suffering, you know? I mean, you could hear his body just like morphing and ripping and
It's not the end.
And then here, I mean, anybody who's plays Genshin must have been flipping out when they saw these strings. It's like, this is Daner of Heavenly Principles. Hello. I mean, we've seen this motif, I guess you could call it, so many times in the Hoyoverse on many different occasions for many different scenarios. I mean, this is just kind of the epitome. And then if you look here, you see this rip. I mean, this looks so much like the firmament. It looks like they're just splitting it right open. And then, of course, you see PHAINON here in the center, encased in this golden ball, and all of these flowing. It's gorgeous, but it's so tragic. And you could see it was actually filling back in.
Walking until I witness the end of this journey. But I will never submit to this idea.
You know, this also is such a big concept in the Hoyoverse as well, because characters are always in a battle against their fate. We hear this over and over again, that there's some fated path, you know, that they're traveling down, but they want to fight against it. I always think of Lumine. Well, it depends on who your main character is, but in my game, I have Abyss Princess Lumine. I always think of that line in the first Dainsleif quest when she says, her journey will see no end until she's basically completed her war with fate. And we hear that over and over and over in Genshin 100 times about being against fate, being challenging fate, in a war with fate. And it comes from the Honkai universe as well. I mean, I played Honkai Impact 3rd, but I wasn't really like deep in the lore. But I do know, you know, the overall basic story. And I think we're just seeing here again in Star Rail this idea of fate. It's like, to PHAINON, it's like he doesn't see the fate as being something immovable or unchangeable. It's an idea of a fate. Like, it's like what the possible fate could be. But I think what keeps him fighting, excuse me, what keeps him fighting is the war with fate, which I think we're going through in Genshin as well, and probably in the entire Hoyoverse, is we're constantly fighting against the fate of the story, the characters, their path, whatever. And PHAINON's not going to give up. He's not going to give up until he breaks this cycle and puts it all to rest. Rather, that means everybody can come back, which, you know, I have... Obviously, I would love for all the characters to come back and live happily ever after. That would be great. But at this point, I don't really know if they're even alive to begin with anywhere in the universe. We've seen different examples in Hoyo games where sometimes Like, for example, look at the Sumeru, like, main Archon quest. The people there in the city were trapped in that cycle of the Samzeros festival, right? And they were just doing it over and over and over again. But really, it was their minds that were basically being controlled by, like, Azar through the Akasha and all that. So they weren't really, like, living it over and over. It was like more like a simulation, right? So I think in this situation, I feel like probably what's going to happen is we're going to find out what really happened to these people. Like, was Akima even a real place that ever existed? Or is it all just basically the playground for this event to continue over and over and over? Because, like, in Genshin, I keep comparing it to Genshin. I don't mean to do that. It's just like a way to give an example. Because when you break the samsara cycle in Sumeru City, and Nilu sings her song, and all that whole big bubble and everything just, like, dissipates, and everybody comes out of the dream, then everybody's fine, right? Everybody just goes back to living their life. But in this situation, I feel like we don't know if these characters exist somewhere. Like, is there a planet somewhere where these characters were living and now they're just kind of stuck in this simulation? Or are they just fragments of some sort of memory, or not even a memory? Like, are they just characters sort of in this journey that PHAINON is on? Did they ever exist anywhere, you know? Now, we saw a little bit of a hint about that with Anaxa, because he had Cersei's memories of being a human in a flashback. So it makes me feel like maybe there was a point in time before, like, the scepter came or whatever, where these people all really did exist on a planet somewhere, living their regular normal lives. They weren't gods or anything. They were just people. And then maybe by chance, if the cycle can be broken, maybe they're gonna regain their lives, if that's even possible at this point. I don't know, because we don't even know if they have physical bodies, or if they're just souls basically trapped in this never-ending cycle of this universe. Because obviously, if he's done this 3 million times or whatever it is, nobody would still be alive in the physical world for that long. But time can be very tricky, because even though he's done 3 million cycles or whatever, we don't know how long that is in the space of, like, actual real time that exists. Similar to, like, what we did with Skirk's story quest last week. When she goes into the abyss and trains and fights, time is not passing in the same way that it's passing in Teyvat. So it could be a situation where, yes, PHAINON has been doing 3 million cycles, but we don't know that in terms of actual time, or even if it is in actual time. If he's in some kind of infinity loop where he's just doing it over and over, it may not even have a concept of time. So anyway, I think if I was going to choose the ending that I would really want for this, I think this is what I think would probably happen. So I think PHAINON will go into this ultimate mode, right? And I think he's going to have an inner struggle between being controlled by Nanook. I feel like that's kind of Lygus's goal. I think Lygus wants to kind of offer Finan up as a puppet for Nanook's grand scheme. But I think Finan, even though he's now kind of melded with the Flame Reaver, I mean, they're obviously their bodies like combined. I don't even know. A lot of people think the Flame Reaver was Finan to begin with, but I'm not sure if I believe that. I don't know. I'm not so sure. But apparently now, in this form, they have kind of melded together into this greater being. But Finan is still in there somewhere. And his love for his friends and the way he is so driven for his goal, I feel like he could win out kind of over the dark voices or whatever. So what would be really cool is if he ends up kind of beating out that temptation to be basically a tool for destruction and can kind of reclaim himself and his power to use it for good. And then he can turn on the other Lord Ravagers and fight them for the good side, along with the Astral Express crew and all our friends. And we'll probably have to get Jing Yuan and Don Hung in here again. We're going to need all the help we can get. But it would be really interesting, I think, if he kind of had an inner struggle where he then kind of turns to the good side. Then if he can actually break all of this Amphorius stuff, which I think it'll have to destroy like the whole place, right? Maybe there is a planet, you know, where they all lived and had regular lives. Because I think it would be cool at the end of Amphorius if we do have the characters somewhere living so we can come back, you know, over the years. Like as we go on to other planets and stuff, we would still have a place where we could go back and have like, you know, events or quests to go back and revisit them and stuff. Because otherwise, the flip side of that would be that everyone really is dead and they're all gone, and Finan is going to be the last. What does the prophecy say? He's like the last one to witness everything, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of Amphorius, it's just, you know, Finan joins the Astral Express as like our buddy and everyone else is gone. I would not really like that. I mean, even though I would be glad for Finan to join us, I think that would be wonderful. I would like an ending where everybody else can exist. I mean, they've all been through hell. Like, can they just live like their normal lives? Like, not as Chrysos heirs, not as gods. Just, you know, let them have their human life and just be on a nice little friendly planet somewhere where they can just live happily ever after. And then we can come back every year and have like an Amphorius event or something. You know, I mean, I'm just looking at it from like, you know, the positive side of things. So that's what I would prefer. But I think knowing Hoyoverse, it could go either way. I think it could be the way I want it, but I also think it could be that Finan really is going to be the only one left at the end. I mean, if they really wanted to make it brutal, they could bring back everyone. Finan could sacrifice himself to bring back everyone, and Finan would be gone, which would be devastating. I mean, as much as I'm sure Finan would happily give up his life for the friends of his to come back and live their lives. He would do that in a second. But as a player, I would be so sad if he died. Even if it was to bring everybody back, I would just be devastated beyond anything. I mean, the way I look at it now, Finan is the main character. He is him, you know? And I wouldn't want to play this game without him. I would be devastated. Yeah, it would be so sad. But this trailer was magnificent.
Idea of fate. Never.
Oh, this is heartbreaking. This is absolutely heartbreaking. Just let my boy go back to Aedes Elysiae. He wants to lay in the wheat fields and be as normal, and just let him have his happiness. I feel like it's not going to happen. Hoyo wants us to suffer. I think they will give us a glimpse of happiness, and then they'll take it away from us. It's just absolutely devastating. Again, here with the sustainer of heavenly principles. With the little blocks, except these aren't cubes, they're like rectangles, but still, it's the same thing to me. This is heartbreaking. Oh. I hate everything.